You've all heard of that old school time song, Ring Around the Rosies. Well, I'm taking a new twist on that and calling it Ring Around the Posies. So I have this metal planter here that is completely waterproof. In the bottom, I've layered it with about 1 inch of gravel. On top of that, I've put a 10-inch liner, which I'm going to make a few cuts for drainage, because we're actually not using this as a liner this time, but as a planter. So I want just a couple of little cuts in the liner, and that will allow any water to run down through. The rock catches it below, and our plants will not drown. You won't end up with root rot. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of soil and place right into our container here. Now this is going into the liner that is in our decorative metal container. And I'm going to fill this up about halfway to start with. Now I'm going to push the soil back to the sides. And I have a 6-inch liner. And I've done the same thing to the 6-inch liner. We've just pinched a couple of little drainage holes around the bottom, once again, so we don't get that water buildup and our plants rot from root rot from too much water. I'm going to add a little more soil then in between that 6-inch liner and the 10-inch liner. We want to fill that in because that's going to be the ongoing, growing, living element of our Ring Around the Posey. I'm using just a very basic garden soil comprised of compost and perlite, sphagnum moss, very good drainage, very good nutrition. We're going to start with this 6-inch ivy pot, which I'm going to take apart here. I'm going to rip it right out of the pot. And you'll notice that it's comprised of several smaller ivy plugs. And I'm going to pull those apart and plant them between the two liners, the 6-inch liner that we put inside the 10-inch liner that is filled with soil. I'm going to space those out evenly around there. Now you don't have to use ivy. You could use pothos, commonly called philodendron. There are many other green type plants that are vining like this that could be used in this same Ring Around the Posey. So we've got 2 more bits here we're going to place in here. Add a little more soil on the top. And I'm just going to use some, oh, we have another little ivy plant here. We're going to stick that right in there. Now, ivy is a low light plant. It will do very well indoors. But if you allow it to acclimate outside, it will do well in the full sun. A little more soil. I know some folks are saying, I can never get ivy to grow. I can never get ivy to grow in the house. It gets bugs and mites and so on and so forth. The trick is not letting it go too dry and not keeping it too moist. So it's a fine balance. One thing you can do if you do spot a little mite or gnat on the plant is take a combination of warm water and just a drop of your liquid dishwashing soap. Not dishwasher, but dishwashing soap. Shake that up and thoroughly spray the plant on top, underneath, and just leave that on there. And that will help to rid the plant of the problem and prevent further bugs from appearing. So I told you we were going to do Ring Around the Posey. So here we've got our 6-inch liner, and we have our 6-inch potted Gerber daisy, and we can drop that right down in the center there. And now we have a lovely planter, a centerpiece. It could be a lovely gift to take to someone's home for a housewarming prize. And what's nice about this is the ivy will continue to grow once it's well maintained. And seasonally, or as the plant fades, you can pop it out, and then you have that empty cavity there to pop in another 6-inch blooming plant. Whether it be spring, summer, winter, or fall, Ring Around the Posey. As we come to a close, I want to thank you again for joining me here at the garden today. Hope to see you next time at Caregiving 101. Take care of one another and make time to smell the flowers. Bye-bye.